Welcome to the ninth traverse in my 204th journey across the Sahyadri, all the way from Nasik to the jungles of Mahabaleshwar. Today we'll be covering 10 lesser known forts in the Harishchandragad range, a pretty remote and lesser explored region which really has some beautiful forts and peaks in its region. You can find the HD quality videos on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. My blog ultrajourneys.org and a 10-minute preview gets posted on InstaTV and Facebook. Here we can see the map. Apart from the well-known Harishchandragad, we will be exploring a couple of lesser known ones, including Bhairavghat, Kunjarghat, Karkai Hill, and then proceeding down to the Pimpalgaon Lake, from where we explore Sindola, Devdondia, Hanumangat, Nimgiri, and Hatsar, all protecting ancient trade routes from the ports in the Konkan Plains to the Deccan Plateau, in this case towards the Junar site. Voila, along the way we find farmers transporting their sugarcane at the end of mid-December sometime. Sorry, beginning of December, I guess we're only halfway the journey. In many cases you don't see motorized tractors yet. People use manual labor for harvest as well as animals to transport their goods to the nearest sugar factory. On the way from the previous Kalsubai range to this Harishchandragad range, we come across beautiful crystal clear water rivers. Very tempting to take a refreshing dip as the sun sets high during the day. First fort of Bhairavghat here. You can see the pink dot up there from the base village of Kotali. The main aim to build this fort was to keep an eye on the Tolarkind route of Harishchandragad fort. The mountain range starts from Kotali village, where at first there is a hill with the shape of a Shiva Linga. This hill is named as Kolata. Next to it there is a peak, after which there is Bhairavghat, which a flat surface, and another peak named Gadavansha Dongar, which literally means Donkey's Hill. So initially we come up to a pretty nice spot. I think this is pretty well visited fort through the forest, and then finally we climb up a couple of steep rock cut sections and ladders on the way to the top. We also find midway a couple of big reservoirs cut off from the rock, from the hill. Again, a second ladder here, the final ladder to the top, from where we already get beautiful views on the valley below and the adjacent ranges. One of them being Kunjarghat, there at the horizon, where we'll be heading next. On top of Bhairavghat, we find a reservoir here again, and a small temple which we saw there. Next, we proceed along that same rural road that proceeds from Kotale village and goes through really remote, beautiful small farming hamlets at the base of this hill range. As we cross the Malshesh Ghat while coming from Kalyan Murbat, we come across a mountain range which is the Baladghat hill range. This range falls behind Harishchandragad and has many forts like Kalal, Kunjar, Bhairavghat, etc. The word Kunj means elephant in Sanskrit. From the base village of Vihir, this fort resembles like a giant elephant. Kombalbatghat is the other name of this fort. Here I park my bike near a small village where, as the guys who were guiding me from my home base in Pune told me that it's pretty difficult to find a trail, so I kind of give in to something I normally don't do and find the local guide. Couple of kids playing soccer on the base of the hill tell me that they can get me up there, and after a small negotiation we decide to head off. We have some food, some snacks, actually some good food, and some water here at the base village before we proceed up to a journey that takes a little longer than initially planned. We climb up initially along a ridgeline again, with in between a couple of rock steps. Mainly a nice trail, and again being very less touristic, lesser explored, you can find still beautiful rock quartz crystals along the way. Here we then come on top of the fort, which has a huge reservoir. Very beautiful, pretty high fort here, so stunning views on the surrounding ranges of Harishchandragad. Here is my local guide, very nice boy that initially runs ahead of me, but then soon finds out that the guy behind him is an endurance athlete, so he takes a break once in a while. Voila, then we actually go around this top pinnacle where there are some walls, fortification walls, and reservoirs, and we actually are looking for a hole which like a corridor, a tunnel which goes from one end of the fort to the other end. You should be able to climb through that tunnel, and on the other end of the tunnel where it comes to the other side of the pinnacle, actually there is a steep drop down. We keep looking for it, but we are not able to find it. So finally we decide to climb down from this fort and head to the neighboring hill, which was also on my map. We follow some nice trails here, probably used by the local farmers and buffalo herders to graze their cattle on these meadow rich hills. You can see some caves also underneath the hill, closed with rocks, where they might keep some cattle. Okay, next on the list is Sindola, overlooking the Pimpalgaon Dam, from where we come from Junar on the way to the base of Harishchandragad. Sindola or Shindola is a small hill fort in the Junar region of Maharashtra on top of the Malshish Ghat plateau. Sindola mountain is distinct by its pinnacle structure visible from anywhere. Sindola is more of a sort of military base as it offers a whole view of the Malshish and Paragaon region and all of its neighboring forts. Sindola dates back very old at similar times of Nimgiri and Hatsar. Voila, meanwhile I pick up one of my ultra running buddies from Chennai who reached on a 1 week holiday to join me, and I finally got some company after an initial 1 month of going solo. Voila, we climb up through a not very obvious trail. Lucky again, I have a GPS route downloaded from Rambler. We contour around the hill and then finally, as usual, get to the top through a small gully here where we have rock cut steps so we can safely climb up. We find some kind of small caves and some rock cut sculptures at the entrance of the fort. Not much fortification left there. Couple of big water tanks on top, so enough water reserves here to keep a small army active. Beautiful views again from the top of Sindola. Kind of a small hillock, very small space on top, but with 360-degree views. From the top of Sindola we get stunning views on the Pimpalgaon Dam, which eventually goes to Kishtwar, from where you climb up to Tolarkand and Harishchandragad. Get a stunning view also on the back of Sindola through some of these pinnacles and ranges that are basically on the edge of the Decan Ridge where it drops down into the Konkan plains. Here we go for a small downhill run from Sindola.
We're running down from Sindola Fort along a beautiful ridge surrounded by lakes on both sides. Grass is already turning golden just 1 month after the monsoon. Got company today from one of my running buddies in Chennai, Bragadish, on his Vibram shoes, the most natural way to run.
Okay, next on the list is Devdondia. On the way to Devdondia we'll cross the beautiful Pimpalgaon Jogedam, which is an earth-filled dam on the Arpushpa Vati River, a tributary of the Kukadi River near Junar, Pune district of Maharashtra in India, that we know. The dam is located in the Geit basin and is part of the Kukadi project, which constructed 5 dams in the region Other dams included in the project are Jetgaon Dam, Manikdog Dam, Dimbe Dam, and Wadaj Dam. It's a pretty huge reservoir here, used, I guess, for both drinking water as well as agriculture, irrigation. Of course, seeing such a beautiful water body, we cannot resist a small dip at the base. At the back there, you can see those hill ranges from where we came the previous day, Kunjargat and Harishchandragad.
Taking a refreshing dip in a huge lake here. We just came down from Sindola Peak up there. On the other side, we can see Harishchandragad, a little bit fuzzy because of the mist. The lake is huge, and because of the wind, it looks like the sea. We got some nice waves. Amazing place to take on the November heat in Maharashtra.
Okay, so next we go to Devdondia. Did not find any history on this specific place overlooking the deep below there, the Konkan Plains, I guess, and the edge of the Decan Ridge. But beautiful actually. Clear trail goes up from the village below, small settlement, and again, as usual, we climb up through a narrow gully and some rock cut steps to the top of the fort, where we find a beautiful trail contouring towards the big ridge there.
We're running up to Devdondia Hill over there, rising up from the Decan Plateau and dropping steep down to the Konkan Plains. Beautiful trail takes us up. On the right side we get beautiful lush green forest at mid-level, and here is the valley at the base, which eventually leads up to Harishchandragad. Wonderful cool climate up here, breezy wind and nice refreshing lakes to take a dip. Loving it.
Voila, here we then come on the final section to the end pinnacle of Devdondia. Stunning views on both sides of this ridgeline. You can see the Decan Ridge dropping down very steeply on the left side. Very majestic, these views. On the way down again, we run here down that narrow gully through some boulders and rock steps.
We're walking down a steep gully here, descending from Devdondia up there, which is a peak on top of the Decan Plateau, offering amazing views on the Konkan Plains below. We're getting into a pretty steep gully here to descend into the plains. A small little rocky trail, some steps cut, gives access to this otherwise almost impossible amphitheater of steep ancient volcanoes.
Okay, next we are proceeding to the twin fort of Nimgiri and Hanumangat. The Balghat mountain range of the Sahyadris cuts across Pune, Nagar and Nasik districts. There are many forts, ghats and passes nested in this range: Malshesgat, Daryagat, Nanegat, Sakurdigat, Harishchandragat, Kunjargat, Papargat, Kalatgat, Nimgiri, Hatsar, Bairavgat are located here. Nimgiri and Hanumangat forts are located opposite the Harishchandragat fort, and it's known for its rock-cut stairs. At the base of both twin forts, we find some very recently recovered from the forest old rock-cut stones here, many of them by a couple of volunteers from Pune who are working with the local village to restore both forts. Again, we get up through the gully that connects both the hills on which both forts are located. Good views on the valley again below, filled with water. Initially we climb up the Nimgiri fort, which has a beautiful majestic rock cut staircase to the top there. You can see the basically cut out completely out of the mountain. Must have been quite an effort. Here a view from the top, completely cut out of the mountain. And finally, at the top, we find again quite a few reservoirs there, some clear, some a bit dirty. And we also find a couple of volunteers here working with the local villagers to do a lot of restoration here of caves, water tanks around this fort. Many hidden treasures here. It takes a lot of effort, sometimes almost 3 to 4 months, to remove the soil from one single reservoir. Quite a couple of beautiful ancient cut rocks recovered here from under the soil. And here we can see a big rock cut cave with several rooms on the side of Nimgiri Fort, recently discovered after removing the soil. Same with some old coins there, which were recovered from this site. Okay, then proceeding next is Hatsar Fort. It's among the many forts in Junai region of Pune district, which were meant for protection of the ancient commercial trade route from the Mawal region to the Kalyan via Nanagat. There is a marvelous sculpture design of the bastion and fort entrance, which is not seen elsewhere. They're all carved from a single rock. Here we can see the majestic staircase leading up again in the Gully. There is actually a nice staircase on one side of the mountain and another kind of rock gully coming up from the other side also. Both lead to the saddle, where we have still a huge fortification in place. Gate is not to be seen there. We have to climb a bit around these structures on the right side to get to the top. Here is then, which was mentioned in the small write-up, the pavilion and entry gate cut out of a single piece of rock, not seen anywhere else, it seems, in the Sahyadris. So very beautiful. Here you can see the same from the other side, the top side. Single piece of rock with several watch rooms cut out where soldiers, I guess, would have been guarding the entrance of the fort. Finally, next we proceed to Chavant, which is a hill fortress located 30 kilometers from the modern day town of Naryagon in Junar Taluka. This is one of the forts known as the famous five. Chavant, Hatsar, Shivneri, Jivdan and Nanagat form the famous five track. The fort has remnants of construction and are more than 800 years old. The village of Chanvantwadi lies at the base of the fort. Under the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji, this was also known as Prasanagat. The photos I picked here are from the internet, because when I climbed this fort, my battery unfortunately died and there was no power in the place where I stayed that night. At the base, you can see that the ancient steps have been actually reconstructed. I mean, basically laid with new modern rocks. So quite a bit of work is done here to get people up there. And then after this initial section, you have metal railings which get you to the top of the fort. Here you can still see the original rock steps, which have now, I think, been supported with proper metal railings. On top you find a number of reservoirs, a lot of vegetation on top of the fort, not that easy to explore the place. Voila, and then finally we also have the last one in this range, which is Jivdan. 6 tigats exist in the Sahyadri, and they have played a major role as commercial routes. Huge forts guarded each of them. The whole range that has been guarding the ancient commercial route of Nanagat for thousands of years includes the forts of Jivdan, Hatsar, Manhishgat and Chavant. Jivdan lies at the mouth of the Nanagat and is quite a tougher one. Moreover, it's famous for the pinnacle of Vandar Lingi. Here we can see a picture of Jivdan, which I took a couple of weeks earlier as I finished my second traverse from Lonavala to Nanagat, to Nanagat, I guess, at the end of the monsoon, end of October. Here we can see beautiful views on Nanagat and the cloud-filled Konkan plains below Nanagat. Stunning views again, somewhere already later in the day though. Here you can see wet steps going up to Givedon Fort. After these initial proper steps, you get into a gully where the steps were really slippery, and it was a little bit too tricky, I felt, to proceed even barefoot. I did not get proper grip. One wrong slip there would have been the end of my journey, so I took a U-turn a little bit higher. Thank you for joining this 8th traverse, where we explored again some 6 to 8 beautiful forts on the Harishchandragad range. Now we'll be proceeding further south of Nolanvala next to explore a couple of pretty famous forts around the Pauna and Mulchi lakes. See you guys tomorrow. As usual, you can find all this and much more on my blog ultrajourneys.org, which has more than 500 posts, maps, videos, presentations, webinars, and lots more to explore. See you guys tomorrow.